All right, guys. I played a little 2-5 $10 rack straddle game the other night. I got ran over basically, and I wasn't very happy with a lot of my play. But I chalk a lot of it up to the fact that I just didn't know the players. There was some real aggressive stuff going on that now, if I was to play against these same players, I'd be a lot more equipped. I'd know how to adjust, how to make plays. Um, but I didn't know it at the time. So I just jump right into it here and I'll explain as I
Or
go.
live stream.
I think we can probably mute the sound on this. Um, so this is at the Reserve Poker Club in Toledo. Uh, we got an open here, and number of callers, last act in position. I'm gonna call Queen 10. Now this guy, the gambler, he's called. I'm not sure of his real name, but he was opening light a lot. You can see under the gun straddle. He opened 6-4. I believe it was him that opened. He might have just completed as a straddle. But anyway, he leads. No, he checks. I remember when he checks. And on this draw heavy of a board, I just felt like I could stab and take it down. It probably was a little too ambitious. I'm not really happy with my bet here because um, just too many people. To draw heavy of a board, you get too many calls, and then what are you going to do? I have a backdoor straight draw, but that's all I have. So not happy with my bet here. Um, when the pre-flop razor checks, I think DJA should probably bet sevens here for value slash protection. But what happens is the gambler here, he ends up with a straight flush draw, and he check raised me. And when he did this, I really felt like he had like a monster draw. But that's the problem with betting with a hand like this that has no equity. What am I going to do? Even if he has a straight flush draw, I'm I'm in bad shape, right? I don't know what to do. Let's see what my equity is when it gets around back to me. If it even shows it, 26%. I mean, I'm in position, but that's a two to come, of course. So it's a little hard to call and play here, even if I know he's got 6-4 hearts. So anyway, long story short is I don't like my stab here. And but is what it is. I'm gonna turn around and move on. Another quick one here. This is probably a little too light, but with this game, probably isn't. But early position, razor 2-3 suited. You can see guys playing stuff like 7 deuce, 10-9 off. So it was a pretty loosey goosey game. It gets around to me, and I see bet. I like this see betting, but when I get two colors, I'm just going to give up. Unless I pick up diamonds. If I pick up diamonds, I'd fire again. It's checked again. There's too much of a chance that someone has a 10, someone has an ace. I can't get that stuff to fold. I have no equity on the turn. So I'm just giving up. And this guy is pretty active. I believe his name is Noah. Um, and he was real bluffy, but it kind of tricky. You check back the turn, but yeah, nothing exciting to talk about here. Now, this next hand might be the most interesting hand of the night. Um, and I'll go through this here in a second. The gambler. Now, this guy was raising all the time. He was very loose pre, and he had a real loose image. And the thing is when a guy has a loose image, he's talking, saying he's splashing, and he's raising like virtually almost every hand. And you can see he's going to raise here 3-4 off in early position. So this guy, it really worked to his advantage as far as he has a loosey goosey image, and he's raising and virtually every hand, virtually every time. Um, and that comes into play as far as a call I make on the river here coming up. But the thing I found is he didn't do much bluffing, if at all, post flop. So he's got this loosey goosey crazy image because he raises every hand, plays every hand pre flop, but he's not crazy post. And it's very easy to fall into, hey, this guy's just crazy bluffing all the time. And what I notice is, yes, he's crazy bluffing pre, but not so much post, which I didn't know at the time when I made this call coming up on the river. I was thinking this guy's just crazy and I have to look him up. So anyway, we'll get to that in a second. He raised to 20. You can see he's raising really wide, +2, with 3-4 off. Get a call here with Queen 9 of clubs from DJA. Now here I am with pocket eights. I even thought about this at the time in position. He raised a 20 call. I'm like, eight's here out of position. I really need to three bet this because I know he's opening wide. So I shouldn't just be calling with two people in there versus a guy who's opening early in the session, especially with virtually any two cards almost. I need to three bet this hand. I three bet this hand. I get this garbage out of here. I'm sure he folds. And if he calls, great. But I don't think he would. I need to three bet this hand. This hand is too strong against two people and out of position. I need to three bet this hand, period. I thought about it. I didn't do it. My mistake. I screwed it. So we get to a flop here. Jack 6-4. Now, most of the time, I have the best hand here, second pair to the board. So he checks. I check to the razor. I assume that he might see bet, but he doesn't see bet. So it ends up getting checked all the way around. Turn is a 5 of clubs. Now, with this turn, I still think I have the best hand most of the time, especially with the pre-flop razor checking. And, he could have 5-6 or something. This guy's really wide. But the big thing here is I got second pair to the board, which I think is good. And I have a lot of equity as far as an 8 could come or a 7 could come. So I'm in good shape. You can see I'm 56% here. And I'm betting this for value. Now this guy, he calls with the bottom pair and an open ender. Boy, it would have been nice if he hit his 7. Huh? That would have been a payday for me. I would have gotten a double up here. Unfortunately, a 7 does not come. That would have been very nice. He's in bad shape. I know what he's thinking. He's calling with a pair on open ender, but he doesn't know I have 8s, obviously. Boy, it would have been nice to still. He was running really good, and that helps too. And then this guy picks up a flush draw with an over, so he's going to call, obviously. So I got 185 to the river. The river comes the 4. Just how lovely, huh? The river comes the 4. So I check it. Now, the reason I check it is I can't get value. I don't think from worse. I'm not worried about anything really. But I do think there's a good chance that this guy, at the time I was thinking this anyway, there's a good chance this guy would bluff if he had like a pair and an open ender, which is what he had. Funny, or like a pair. With that turn, I thought maybe he had a pair and an open ender or something like maybe a 7 in clubs or some kind of draw when he calls it turn. So, and I was right. So if I put him on some kind of draw, then I'm going to check to go ahead and let him bluff at all his misdraws. So, yes, he could have a 4. Could he have a boat? No. I think he would have bet the flop. And especially he would have raised the turn if he had like a set of 6s, a set of 4s, a set of 5s, with all those draws on the turn. He's not just calling the turn with a set or even 2 pair. So I'm not worried about a boat at all. Do a little hand reading. It's easy. So the only thing that he could have is a 4, right? What else could he have? 5-7, he's raising the turn, probably. But he's got a ton of misdraws. So when he bets full pot on the river, I turn around. He's going to think it for a minute. He bets. How much does he bet again? Yeah, full pot. Pretty much. And I snap call. You can see I snap call. And I get the bad news. Now, honestly, I like my call. I really like my call. You can say, oh, what a horrible call. But if you do a little hand reading, there is a shit ton of more misdraws than there is 4. The way the hand was played, I don't believe he has a boat. Unless he played a set tricky, but he's not playing a set. Just calling the turn with this particular turn card, right? If he has a set, he's going to raise his turn most likely. He's not going to be worried about 7-8. So I don't know, especially with the clubs out there too. I think the only thing he could possibly have is a 4 or a bluff. And there's a hell of a lot more bluffs than there are 4s. So again, as played, I don't mind my hand. I don't mind my call. The only thing I did in this hand that I was very not happy about was not three betting pre-flop. So quick hand here. DB raises, call, of course, call, queen jack. Flop comes jack 6-7. And what happens is DB here turns around and shoves, and he's got $273 left in his stack. So it's like a 2x pot size bet. And Shimmy's sitting here thinking, and he's really short. He just shoves it in. Boy, does it smell like a draw, doesn't it? Doesn't it smell like a flush draw? So I don't blame Shimmy for calling, and I'm really glad he calls because I don't know what I would have done. It really smelled like a draw. DJA, honestly, I don't mind him folding because you would think he's probably against a made hand and a higher draw. So his hearts, if they come in, are probably no good. As it turns out, he was in great shape because he had a gutter and a good flush draw, but he doesn't know that, right? I'm very glad that he called because then it made it easier for me to fold. I don't know what you guys would have done. What you think? I think with Shimmy calling, now I'm up against two people. Now I'm up against maybe, can they both have draws? I doubt it. I'm up against a made hand and a draw, and his hand might be better than mine, which it was. So I'm glad he called. It made it easier. If he doesn't call, he asked me afterwards. He's like, "Would you have called if I folded?" I'm like, "I really don't know." It's kind of a tough spot because it's funny. What a move. I mean, it looks fishy, like a fish would do this, like you just jam because you got the best hand, but it honestly looks like a draw. That's what he was intending to do. It looks like he was trying to buy the pot. So it makes it more likely that a decent player is going to call you down actually because it looks like you just have a flush draw and you're ahead of a flush draw. But he actually had a set. So quick one. Now, honestly, these next two hands are really put me on tilt. And it was because they were against players that I'm not familiar with. And I was like, God, I'm getting wrong. That now I know, right? But it was very tilting at the time, folding the best hand twice. And I played these little tricky, and I'll explain. So probably people watching the stream are like, how do you fold that? Why do you not four bet? Everyone's like an expert. But I'll explain. So I have jacks under the gun. For some reason, I just raised small. I wanted it to look like I was kind of weak, kind of almost inviting a three bet. I know I was raising smaller than the typical open, $5 less. There was no straddle on, so it was just 2-5. So it's not that crazy. But MGM Bob, by the way, here did not have 10 deuce. This is a card reading error because he showed me his card. He actually had ace 10 off. So throw that out there. He showed me his hand. I don't know why it says 10 deuce, but it wasn't 10 deuce. It was ace 10. But maybe because he saw the $15, I kind of opened myself up to this by raising to 15. He went ahead and he three bet me with, again, ace 10. And it gets around to me. Now, of course, I'm never folding. This guy, let me show you a picture of him. I don't remember ever playing with him. He said he remembers me. I don't think I've ever played with him before. I might have. He's VPIP. What's his VPIP over here? It's way down here. Well, it's 22%, right? So he don't play many hands. He was early in the stream. He was not very active. When an old guy like this that barely plays a hand three bets you, you're like, okay, I could four bet, but let me just turn around and call and see what happens, right? So now I know. Again, I open myself up to this. If I'm not gonna, we'll get back into it. If I open myself up to stuff, then I have to keep that in the back of my mind. Not sure why I did that, but maybe I should have raised to 20 and he doesn't do this. But I should invite it. I mean, a lot of times you'll raise really small. Like if I had aces here, oh man, I'd probably do this on purpose and just loving it. And then I'm not at a pickle here. So anyway, flop comes king 4-4 and he turns around and bets. And honestly, this is a mandatory call. He could just be c-betting with anything. And he had ace 10. And just an old guy. I've been running bad. Sometimes it gets to you when you run bad. You start playing too tight. You see monsters under the bed a little bit. I'm wondering if that's part of it. I really wanted to win some money in this stream. That might be part of it. But if you just play poker and don't have that stupid crap in your head, I thought about it. This is a mandatory call. This is a call period call. No issues. I mean, I was real short. And you can see he bet, what did he bet? He bet a sizable flop. He's over. It was like $125. It's not showing it. Yeah, he bet a fair amount. He bet like $125. And like I said, over and bad. I was short. I didn't want to rebuy. I said I'm just going to buy him per grand. Whatever happens, happens. That was part of it too. If you're playing, you want to be playing tight, so I can just play and not be like, oh God, do I want to put in 125 and now I'm pot committed. That's not how to play poker, right? We all know that. I should be playing deeper. And even if I am short, I shouldn't even have those thoughts in my mind. It's a mandatory call. See what he does from here on out. But I said, well, he's either got ace king or he's got like aces or kings or queens because I give him way too much respect as far as his pre-flop raising. And when I saw the king and he bet big, I just folded incorrectly. And then I think he shows here. I'll show you. It's actually ace 10. Yes, you can see the ace there. It's ace 10, not 10 deuce. So anyway, that was a bad fold by me. Mandatory call. And he's the type of guy that won't triple barrel either, I notice. He fires once and then he typically gives up. So I should have called down once, checked again. If he fires again, I can fold. I don't think he would have. And I would have taken down that pot. So not happy with how I played that one at all. But I'm going to come up to another one that's real similar here. Here we got another spot. Real similar. Pick up a big monster pair again under the gun. This time it's pocket queens. Again, like I said, I wasn't thrilled about maybe I shouldn't raise to 15. I don't know last time. So this time I opened to 20. And we got Honey Bear here. This guy I don't know well. Again, it's just not knowing the players real well. So not sure what I wanted to do. So he three bets to 80. Now I'm going to go through in a minute here a little bit about ranges and how to adjust to people that are three betting with hands like ace 10 and 3-4 suited to an under the gun raise. In games that I play, I never see a three bet with a hand like this to an under the gun raise. Really ever. And the real soft games and games I'm used to playing in Indianapolis, I really don't see it very often anyway. So when I see a guy that I've never met before and he three bets big like this, I don't put 4-3 suited in his range. So, but I know I'm ahead, right? I'm ahead. I don't know what to do. I got 680 now. I've doubled up. I've got some money. So I can turn around and re-raise, but then I'm kind of pot committing myself. But again, this guy's VPIP was pretty low too. So I almost feel like maybe just being the new guy, they're trying to test me and pick at me, which is part of the game. That's fine. I mean, I think it was just, they've never seen me. They're trying to take advantage of maybe their tighter image. Now that I know some of these things and have played with them once, I'm going to play these hands differently. But when you're brand new to a stream, sometimes you're going to make mistakes because you just don't know the player. So the gambler folds nines, which is pretty crazy. Maybe he saw something in me that I was pretty strong. Honestly, if he calls, then I have to come over the top because with a three bet and a call, then you just got to go with queens, I think. But surprisingly, he folds. So anyway, DB folds. And then it turns around, shimmy folds. Comes back around to me. I decide to just call. I could four bet, obviously. But again, I've never played with this guy. I don't know how he plays. And I just call to kind of see what happens. And typically, a lot of times, against players I don't know that I've never seen three bet, I'm going to give them too much credit because you just don't see a whole lot of three betting at lower stakes. Like I said, now that I've seen certain guys, three betting with ace 10 and 3-4 suited, I'm going to do more four betting, obviously, with strong hands and with weaker hands. Otherwise, they're just going to, well, I could say they're going to run all over me. That's not necessarily true because I might just call here, probably against this guy. And kind of my plan was to probably check call down, depending on how it goes. But I think in the future, I probably would do that. Anything on the jack eye board. And then, of course, we get a king, So I'm a little concerned now because he could have ace king. So I check over to three better. He turns around and he bets. And I don't remember the sizing off the top of my head. I remember it was like 100, close to a pot size bet, I believe. is it going to say? It's not going to say. I called, and I'm not going to make the mistake like I did earlier. I'm a little deeper now, and I'm not just going to fold because there's a king out there to this guy. So I decided to call. And one of the things I wonder about too is, maybe these guys don't know this, but the paired boards you shouldn't be betting real big on. So when people bet real big on paired boards, it's almost polarizing. Like, not necessarily, but if you're not consistent with your bet sizing, I kind of scratch my head sometimes when I see guys bet real big on a paired board. It's like, why would you bet real big if you wanted to call, on a paired board? There's not much in the way of draws out there. So, well, it didn't even go through the action or show the flop. What's going on? Did I miss something? Well, that's a screw up in the graphics there. Okay, well, I'll tell you what happened. So, it came out. Does it even ever show? No, it doesn't. The flop was like king 3-3. Or no, king. It was like king deuce deuce, something like that. Right? It's kind of like king deuce deuce. Did it show it? Yeah, that's what it was. King deuce deuce. I was mess up with the graphics. So anyway, king deuce deuce. He turned around again. He 3-bet. I called. He turns around and he bets. I check. He bets. I call. Turn was like a nothing burger, like an offsuit 7 or something. I check again, and he bets really big again on the turn. And I ended up folding, and then he showed me 4 high, like with no equity whatsoever, absolutely nothing, no draw, no nothing. He said that he didn't put me on a king because if I had a king, I would have raised or bet the turn and let him know I had a king. Why would I? To me, that makes no sense whatsoever. If you know this, I mean, it just makes no sense. If I have ace king here or king queen, I'm at least calling 2 streets, and I'm going to play it exactly the same way. And I don't need pocket kings to do it either. I'm going to turn around and let's say he 3-bet and I call with king queen. I check, he bets, I call. I check, he bets, I call. I'm calling him at least 2 streets, right? They're just so, but I didn't have a king. I had pocket queens. So it's like, oh, I did call him down once on the flop, and then on the turn, I gave up. And like I said, he windmilled 4-3, and he just double barreled on me with absolutely no equity whatsoever. He figured I would play a king differently. I would not. If you think whether or not you think they're bluffing, you go ahead and give them the opportunity to bluff. They have the lead. Go ahead and let them keep barreling. And if they're bluffing, let them keep bluffing. Why would you do anything like check raise the flop or bear and bomb the turn just to stop them from bluffing if they're bluffing? That's really kind of poker 101, guys. It may make it a little harder because you like technically don't know where you're at as well, but really you want to just check call. And typically you check call 2 streets. Now this one was kind of tough because I never played with the guy, and I never thought in a million years he was capable of double barreling. Most people that I played with, they'll fire once, you call, check, turn, and then they know you're capable of like, you could have kings, you could have aces, you could have ace king, and you're checking again because you're checking in flow. So they're not going to double barrel. This guy does double barrel. I mean, I'm going to check and flow with a king, of course, and let him barrel again. I don't understand his logic when he said, well, you would have let me know if he had a king. I don't get that because I'm checking in flow, um, and that's what you should do. You shouldn't just let people know what you have. Some really bad players just let you know what they have. Like, thank you for letting me know what you have, so I'm off the hook. That's bad poker. So, kind of rambling on here, but long story short is that's what his explanation was for double barreling. Um, so, and that doesn't happen most of the time. People play against because they just figure, hey, I'm going to check a king again. I'm going to check pocket kings. I'm going to check pocket aces. I'm going to check ace king. I'm going to check king queen. I'm going to check king jack. Now, whether or not I call with king jack or king 10 remains to be seen. It's kind of a read-based thing, but maybe call once more and then fold the river if he triple barrels. But with this guy, now that I know he is capable of double and triple barreling, probably triple barreling with nothing, in a spot like this with pocket queens, because I'm out of position, I probably should 4-bet. I should just 4-bet, get her in, because I don't want something like this to happen. Now, if I have aces, I'm probably aces or kings. I am probably playing it the same way and just check call him the whole way and letting him bluff off his stack. If I have queens, ace, king, jacks, with this particular player, I think in the future, I'm going to turn around and 4-bet and get it in just because, especially with a hand like jacks, you can have ace, king, or queen come out, and then this guy's capable of triple barreling. Then what am I going to do? Right? So everything is player dependent, obviously. There are a lot of players that I would play this exact same way with in local rooms around Indianapolis. This guy in particular, I am definitely 4-betting, I think, in the future here with a lot more hands. And yeah, so boy, it put me on tilt when he windmill 4-3 low. It's like I'm waiting forever for a hand, and I get a hand, and I end up folding the best hand. Hard to put a guy on 4-3, you know, when it's hard to play a guy on 4-3 when I raise under the gun. And I am going to talk about at the end of this video here a little go through a little pre-flop stuff where this is what you should do. This is what you should call 3-bet with. This you should call 4-bet with. If people are 3-betting standard ranges. Now, if 3 people are 3-betting stuff like this in ace 10, let's take a look at how it changes things. Actually, tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to cover one more hand, and then I'm going to make a second video after this talking about how to adjust you guys that 3-bet wider like this. All right, let's end on a fun one. Raise, call. 5-3 of spades. I love these little things, especially in late position. Could I 3-bet this? Yes. I don't like to. I'd rather just call, especially in position, and see what happens. I flop a flush. That's nice. So basically what happens is DB here, who's a pre-flop raiser, he goes in ahead and bets $20. And I have a low flush. And I go ahead and I raise it up to 105. Now, some people, I've seen a lot, especially if you have the nut flush or something, or have any flush, will slow play. Don't slow play. Raise this and you will get called by a million things. You'll get called by higher spades. You'll get called by a pair with a spade, which is what this guy has. And he ends up actually calling with a pair of eights and a spade. And you can see he calls the raise. And I didn't raise very often. So it's kind of funny sometimes when some of these guys are playing back at me. I'm like, do you notice how I don't raise or 3-bet very often or call 3-bets very often? But like I said, it's just called adjusting the players. I haven't played with any of these guys before in these cash games. So I don't think so anyway. I don't remember. So except for Tony, of course, who's my buddy there in seat 1. But anyway, so he doesn't have many outs. And I'm looking really good. And you want to raise though for value. Raise it up, man. Don't be coy. And now this is one where I really wish I was deeper. I was not running good this session and holding when I shouldn't have. And so things are not going real well. I wish I was deeper. You want to be deeper, of course, because I missed a lot of value on this hand. If I had more behind me, I would have turned around and done that. So I figure I got something like a pair and a flush, pair and a spade. And if he's got a flush, so be it. I don't think he has a flush. I think he probably would have re-raised the flop. And I'm not folding if he does, by the way, because I don't know if you guys have done any kind of work as far as knowing the odds on certain things, but the odds of 2 people flopping a flush is very, very low. I believe it's like 5 or 10% for you to flop a flush. And then for 2 people to flop a flush, it's even less than that. It's so infrequent. It's probably 3% or 2%. It's so infrequent for 2 people to flop a flush. It's just something you don't worry about. It's like when you flop a set on a non-draw heavy board. You just don't worry. If he's got a higher set, so be it. But the odds are that you have the best hand 99% of the time, 90% of the time. So you have to go with it. You're not folding. I'm never folding a flop flush, especially in a game like this. So anyway, so I can't wait to get it in. And of course, I put the rust in on the turn. And a little concerned if another spade comes. I want to charge the spade. He hems and haws, thinks about it. He ends up calling another 230. And the river is not a spade. Don't put a spade up. Don't put a spade up. No. Oh, no, a spade. Oh, wait. I had a straight flush. When I saw this, I'm like, crap. Yep, that's how I've been running. Freaking hit a straight flush. I believe that. So, actually, one more hand, the knockout hand. Go through that real quick. Now, might there be a part two? Maybe. I didn't cover every hand here. I'm just going to go run through this hand. And I guess I'll decide if I want to do another hand. I want to cover my knockout hand. At this point, I'm down to $300. So it's, again, you shouldn't play this short. So just get up if you run this short. But it was one of those unique things where I bought him for $1,000. I was going to play as long as I could, see what happened. But if you can afford it, you want to play deeper, obviously. But that said, I was straddled on the button. For 10, I make it 25. Could have made it 30. So anyway, get a call from Honey Bear and the flop. And this is the guy who double barreled me earlier with the pocket queens with the 4 high. So keep that in mind. So flop, deck 8-4, all diamonds. I got second pair into 2 people with a diamond draw. Kind of protection. I mean, I'm short too, but there, of course, it's only $80 is the pot. But I'm thinking most of the time I got the best hand with just a pair under the board. I do block a diamond, so I do have a diamond. So I don't know if my diamond's good, but I want to go ahead and bet this. I don't want to see a king of diamonds or ace of clubs or something else come on the turn. This is one of those value bet / protection bets. So as you can see, I do have the best hand, the best equity here. So I go ahead and I lead out. Now, Honey Bear, Mr. Bluffer, he insta raises to 135. And honestly, against him, you can see all he has is the ace of diamonds. Against him, I can't wait to get it in. I'm just putting it in. After seeing that 4-3 of spades debacle, I'm like, okay, this guy, there's no way in a million years I'm folding because number one, if he had the nut flush, he's just calling when I'm this short. Number two, if he has a set, he's just calling. Probably if he has ace jack with the ace of diamonds, he's just calling because he figures he's in real good shape. So what does he have? I mean, he could have a set. Some people would. He could have ace jack with the ace of diamonds. But against this guy, I'm just getting it in. Could just call. But by jamming, I'm charging his high diamond. So if he has like just the ace of diamonds, I'm charging that. And as you can see, I am a favorite, 70% favorite. Get it in. He calls. And what happened? What does he have? 5 outs? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He only has 5 outs. Looking at what other people have in the deck. So I'm in good shape, right? All I do is fade a diamond. Again, now if I was deeper, that's the thing is I could re-raise or call, and I could jam the turn or, but he probably is priced in. I mean, he's not priced in with only 5 outs, but he doesn't know that. He figures he's got more outs than that. So, which would probably give him the right price. So anyway, I get her in. He calls. And run it. They don't run it twice here, by the way. Oh, I'm safe. I'm safe. I'm back in it. Hold on. I'm back up to. Oh, yep. That's how it's been going. So that's it. I called it a day. Like I said, I'm not going to turn around and do any more. I just bought them for the 1,000. Wanted to see what I could do with it. Again, the right way to play would be to reload and be deeper. But that's what I did for this one. So, because the bankroll hasn't been going very well, I've been losing too much lately. So, hopefully this helped you guys. I thought there was some interesting hands, some interesting stuff in here. real action game. And they do have the NIT button. I don't know if you noticed this, but this was kind of cool where you have to pay $40 to the dealer. Now, I kind of prefer to pay to the other members, right? Make it like $10 a player you got to pay out or something. So it's $80. So it's more of a, where you really want to get rid of your NIT button versus $40 and then give it to the players. As it is, we're tipping the dealers and we have to pay $80 to even get in this game. And it's just like, oh, now we're giving them. And I mean, we ran through and tipped the dealer probably 15 times tonight. I mean, I'm not exaggerating. We burnt through those NIT buttons like there's no tomorrow because nobody wanted a NIT button to pay only $40. It does help with the action. I've had a number of hands where I ended up raising big just so I didn't have to pay the $40. So it does help with the action. I think it'd be better to make it like $80 and then give $10 to each player myself. But I do like the NIT button, so it does help with the action. And it was an action game. You can see there's Shimmy here. He did a lot of 3-betting. You can see him here raising with 5-4. A lot of pre-flop, crazy action. You saw the gambler guy. He was raising a ton pre. I need to adjust more to him and start 3-betting more because in that I know Shimmy was doing that a bit with him, which is what you should do against a guy that's opening 80% of hands or 70% of hands, whatever he was opening. If you're opening that often, you have to start 3-betting him. Don't just let him get away with it. And whole tables let him get away with it. So that was an adjustment I need to make to play him again. And again, start 4-betting more. If I'm going to start getting a 3-bet light. And as far as ranges and how to handle 3-bets, 4-bets, I'm used to playing these low-level games that 3-betting aces and kings and ace king. Well, that's not this game. So you have to adjust, right? So I'm going to talk about that in the next video and kind of go through ranges on 3-betting and 4-betting. Totally free. So please subscribe. I know in the past I turned around would just put this stuff on my YouTube channel or on my website, PokerproUS.com, and kind of charge for it, but I'm not doing that right now. So, but I need subscribers to keep doing this. So let me know what you guys think. Talk to y'all later. Like, subscribe. Forward to your friends. All that good stuff.